Good evening, everyone. My name is Aida Farhat, and I welcome you to Conscious Heart Solutions. I have my guest, Divya Womack, here tonight, and I'm excited to have her. Divya was born and raised in the USA, although she now resides in the Caribbean. She has had experiences since she was a young girl of the spirit world. She considers herself to be an old soul with a young spirit. She is the mother of two beautiful children, one boy and one girl. She's received her spirit name Divya from a Yogi Nun, where she understood that her mission was to assist in expanding the collective consciousness and serve humanity through her practices. She was born a mystic, where she feels a resonance of ancient knowing. She's had a spiritual awakening in 2011, where a series of events took place that has forever changed her life. Some of these experiences ignited her psychic abilities. She also experienced electrical interference, time travel, and more. She's been on what is referred to as a hero's journey and inner quest to shed light on her own shadow and transmute and integrate for her personal soul expansion. She's experienced quantum healing meditation, she has experience in quantum healing meditation, Tai Chi. She has participated in shamanic workshops, sacred drumming, sacred ceremony, and sweat lodges. She received initiation to become a Reiki master and worked closely with other modalities. She's gifted in reading Akashic records, and she has several things that she enjoys doing in her spare time when she's not in prayer and meditation and practicing her spiritual development. Welcome. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Aida. It's an honor to be here.
I appreciate your patience, sharing your bio. I too am new at this, so we're going to just get through this. We're going to come from our heart space. I'm going to call in now the angels of support and comfort and protection that we can share information on the show tonight from our heart space, and to really ignite the fire in other people to come together in unity, love, and wholeness. And so I will turn it over to you. Please share with us whatever your heart feels pulled to. Give us some background about your initiations, where you live. I know that you've left the USA. You're now in the Caribbean doing amazing things. A lot of people that will be listening to the show are familiar with you on Facebook. We all enjoy, I can speak for myself, enjoy your posts and the information you share, and the inspiration and the guidance and the upliftment, I think, is amazing. So I'll go ahead and open it up to you, and please share whatever your heart feels pulled to.
Thank you very much, Aida. First, I want to start off with everyone taking a deep breath and to realize that you're off the hook. I'm not trying to present myself or sell you anything. When we show up for each other, we give each other permission to do the same, whether it be encouragement, inspiration, an epiphany, an insight, reassurance, a validation, whatever it may be. I'm not attached to the results. I do request that we leave our minds completely. Everything that we've experienced in the day, whether it was hectic, and, take a deep breath and leave that at the gate and drop into the heart. And so we can listen with a spiritual ear without judgment or expectation. And I am so grateful to be here. Tinkashila, you with me? Oh, thank you. So it's been a long journey, and I know we've all have our individual journey, and it's so special to show up and to share our stories and our experience. And none of my experience would ever override your own personal experience, and many of us here understand that, but it can't be understated. We all have our own missions, our own interests, and to guide you back to that. And where I've started and where I'm at, I've recreated my dream several times, And, you know, I went through a lot to get here. And I can't even really expect no one to congratulate me or show up for me because you don't personally know what I've been through. Uh, and the more work that someone has done, the more we see ourselves in that person. And I'm not attached to that either. I'm just humbled and honored to be here. And drop in the box where you're from. I would like to hear where you're from. And, you know, starting off, you know, when I was born, I was always very obscure, very odd, very alien. And it was very difficult. And through life, I went through many trials and tribulations, you know, I could really, you know, I've processed pain, shock, betrayal, grief, you know, emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, and sexual trauma. But I've also had many psychic sensibilities, you know, being in touch with spirit world, talking to the dead, having prophecy, time travel, you know, the things that people are doing now. It's like, oh, wow, I've been doing this my whole life. It was pretty amazing. I have a twin sister. You know, we always spoke telepathy. We always had our twin language. And until I was 12, I was devastated because I realized that the rest of the world didn't speak like that. So I have more of a soul language. You know, this is why I love art and poetry and really things with deep meaning. It's just how I resonate. You know, I'm a goddess warrior, you know, and, you know, I just came out of an 8 session of the, you know, the times of the sixth sun, you know, all these prophecies, and it spoke of women getting together. So here's the thing, you know, we don't have to be perfect. It's all trial and error. We're allowed to make these mistakes and keep going. You know, they told us to tell everyone about the 11th hour. Now, this is the 11th hour. Harvard did a study when women get together. It was astounding. We live with more joy, which is a huge vibration, and we live longer, and we have more successful lives, whatever success means to you. I've redefined all my goals. Every time I shed a skin and recreate a new dream, I'm not the same person. So, you know, your dream will change. I may manifest that miracle, that paradise, and then, you know, I may grow out of it. So very common, and it's okay. So where I'm at today, after the trials and tribulations, in honoring who I am Lucky Saba. You know, the women who run with wolves, and Clarissa Pincola, you know, she spoke that language. She taught other women to speak that language and to connect with our intuition and how to connect with each other. And I've lived my life through that. It's saved my life. It's kept me wild. It's kept me not institutionalized. It's kept me not domesticated. And it's kept my sensibility sharp. But through, you know, growing defenses through trauma, I had to learn not to be so sharp. I had to learn, oh, wow, taking this armor off might be a little tougher than putting it on, you know, all these things. I just want to encourage people, you know, to meet everyone where they're at and to honor that in whole space. You know, we're a growing world, birthing pains. We're the mandulas of a new world. That is amazing. It is beautiful. It is an honor. And we'll figure this out together. You know, even in the sixth sun, they spoke of the grandmothers. So 50% of women are leading now. How miraculous. And we have to keep our foot on the gas, you know, and lead with values and integrity. This is written, it's prophecy. But more than that, women gathering. It doesn't have to be whatever you want your circle to be. I'm not a director or a facilitator. I just want to emphasize how important it is to show up for one another and how healing that space is. Connect with your tribe, connect with people you resonate with, pick your themes. You know, all these things are so important. But when we hold those space, it was a lady who spoke of when she remembered her grandmother. She said, I remember the women would gather, you know, they would rage, they would cry, they would talk about everything, and solutions would come. It's evolution. We create a space for the answers to come, for it to unfold naturally. And that is so beautiful. And we all deserve that. And it's what I would like to see, you know, for everyone as an individual to create those spaces. Ceremony, we have to get back to the higher intelligence of the old ways, you know, the masterminds, and they were masters at the ancient science of understanding this connection with spirit and their intuition. And they had great vision. So the information's always been there. We've been hiding from it. So whatever we have to do to remain open and of integrity and value. And everyone has a hero's journey. This is in the metaphors of everything in life. There's the separation where you go off into your solitude. You heal. You catch your epiphanies, or whether it's prayer, whatever. The separation, initiation, and the return. So when we return, we share. We share what we've learned. And it's the beauty of it in that order. And I'm just here to answer questions and to share. And I was so delighted that you asked me. And I know I've been in the spiritual closet, and I've been busy readjusting to new currency, new language, new atmosphere, new climate, new people. The people are so colorful and kind here. I got everything that I prayed for. But I did 8 months of solid work, deep healing. And I understand just being true to myself and following that call is why I'm here. So I don't have to have a big plan. I don't dream big dreams. I imagine I see a better world. This is the dream I'm dreaming on a global collective scale. We're dreamers. We're feelers. Forget the mind. It's limited. It will enslave you at best. As a human race, we have to learn to drop back into our hearts. It's a must. It's higher intelligence to amplify, to have the tipping point and shifting through the currents. And it's such a beautiful thing, when I show up and, I spent about 300 hours deeply listening. And I've trained these ears. And, so for 8 months, I've been healing, deeply listening, healing some betrayal trauma. So many things. Left a home. And now I'm here, and I want to give everybody permission. It's okay not knowing. I'm so okay in the not knowing. I don't have to move a big mountain. I have to walk out the door and love my life. I embrace life truly for what it is, and the miracles will come, and the magic follows, and I stay grateful, and I stay in my integrity. And whatever comes. And it's very beautiful. I'm enjoying being in the atmosphere of my own renewal. I have given birth to this.
Can I ask you a question? I don't mean to interrupt you. Can you share with us a little bit more about the initiations that you've been through? Because some people, I don't know, how many listeners we have in, but there will definitely be.
I remember at a young age, I started having the dreams, being in contact with spirit world, seeing and understanding things that people did not. And no one could help me and guide me, And then after that, I always look for things like I could resonate with, I could really, truly, my soul could understand. And I never, through these trials and tribulations, it was always something guiding me. So after, I received my spirit name, I had my initiation, with my spirit name. Their service work was service to humanity and just higher consciousness, a beautiful thing, non-denominational. But I knew I wanted to be a mother. So I left that, and I had my beautiful children. And, I went to sleep for about 10 years. And this is the thing, if you have a true calling, it will keep calling you. And that's exactly what happened. So during my awakening, it was all happening at once. My multidimensional self, many things were happening. And I started changing things. It started with the arm paralysis. I'm like, I didn't even have an injury. And I had tuned into a podcast in Australia, and this lady's husband had an affair with her best friend. She said, I will never forgive them. She was a singer. She had lost her voice. So I understand something was happening, and I had to get to the bottom of it. So, these spiritual things that happen in our physical bodies when we hold them. So I went to sleep, and then I was learning all these things. And then it took me back to when I was 18, and I got initiated when I was learning all these studies. It was all in that one little book. So I did some quantum healing.
Divya, when you mentioned, I don't think this is what maybe I wasn't clear in asking the question. What is an initiation? of course, I've had my own, but there are people that possibly are listening that are new to this kind of information.
Initiations to me is when someone, maybe a facilitator or perhaps, ascended masters, they know when I'm coming. This is the thing about spirit world. It knows upon arrival. Many of these things I didn't look for. I received divine invitations, and this is the reason I answered their call. So many people, it's hard to understand for many people, but it's been an ever-present reality from my experiences. So I was called to the Akashic Records. She made the announcement that they know who is coming upon arrival. She said, Divya, you're like a lighthouse. Many people are afraid. Some people, don't want to see your light keep shining. And every now and then, I would get a coin, from someone who truly understood, but for the most part, living around people who didn't. This is why we have to share our gifts, share our stories, share our experience. The more it's commonplace, I can imagine another way to live.
So having an initiation is like something you would refer to as a rite of passage once you have had.
Absolutely. Yes, it's a rites of passage, whether it be Munai Ki, whether it's Reiki, whether it's the Akashic Records, you have your pipe holders, your fire keepers, so many things. And we all understand it differently. Forgive me for mistakes, progress, not perfection. It's how I understand it. And even with medicine, whether,
for those that are listening that may have had their own initiations and not realize that's what they were experiencing. Or, because there are initiations that take place where there's nobody else that's around. It's just you and spirit. I mean,
yes.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, especially in the last, say, 10 years, but I'll say even maybe less, a lot of people that are going through activations and DNA activations, they don't know what they're experiencing. They're confused. They're not as far along. Doesn't make us, I'm just saying there are a lot of people that aren't understanding what they're experiencing. And it can be quite scary, like the dark night of the soul and other experiences where.
Yeah, let's go there. The dark night of the soul. I remember I had to shift and change my whole life. It was devastating. It was painful. It was batshit crazy. It was very trying times. When we talk about the bliss, when I see people who have conquered epic feats, I look and I think, wow, what mountain did they move inside of themselves? I know automatically with that knowledge and wisdom, comes some kind of triumph. And that's the part of the initiation. We go into the forest, we get the diamond out of the dragon's mouth, and then we bring it back to share it with humanity. This is the quest.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and
that's beautiful. Yes.
It's just better to let the people know that they're not alone. They will get through this. And to reach out to people, if you need a mentor, if you need support, all these stepping stones to assist us. And the best thing is just to put it in your heart and set the intention. And the universe will deliver that to you. What's best for you at that time with a sincere heart, but you have to ask. But we'll get through it.
So what brought you from deciding to leave the U.S. to go to the Caribbean? What was that like? What was that thought process like? Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to let go of all the fear. I'm going to let go of all of what I've been attached to in the U.S. or family, to walk away, not saying that we fully leave our family. They're always in our hearts, but where you made that decision to go ahead and take care of Divya and do what your heart was pulling you to do without fear and just knowing that you were being divinely guided. What was that moment like? Can you give us a idea of that experience and actually walking into the manifestation of what you were creating in your dream as you refer to it?
I was in a situation where I left what was no longer good for me. So I left my home and I went to see my family. in that time, I took 8 months. You know, I lived in the South in Florida. I hit the biggest ice storm in 20 years. So for that 8 months, I utilized my time wisely. Groups, whatever I needed to do to heal is what I've done. And after I processed some shock, some rage, and some grief and some pain, I created my dream of what did I really want. I wanted to be in a healthy environment. I wasn't in a safe environment to heal, and this is what made me leave. I've never been a biracial match there, but for me not to have a safe healing place. So I was like, what do I want? Well, I want fresh fruit. I want kind and loving people. I want to live somewhere simple, but let it be vibrant. And this is what I asked for. And here I am. It's beautiful. The people here are very kind.
Oh, I just get so excited when I hear you say that. It makes it just, it's so awesome. I love it. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you just got me I am imagining as you're speaking and sharing it, that process. And I know it got me like that when we talked yesterday prior to, because this was a quick request that you were so kindly and gracious, enough to say, okay, yes, I'll answer the call. But I know how that lit my heart up yesterday. And it just did the same, like for the first time. It's just so exciting to hear you say what you said and that you walked into that manifestation without fear and you made that call to say, okay, I'm doing it. And now you are where you are. You created it. And you got what you wanted. It's what you asked for. So please
I created it from putting out that intention and being a vibrational match to it. And the other thing is you have to sustain those things, or you may grow out of it or create a new dream, which has been my experience. But through these trying times, I was with a beautiful group of women. We did 46 wisdom quests together. It was profound magic and miracles. And I loved that time. And then this thing hit. And, people were losing their jobs, their homes, their relationships. I mean, so it wasn't about acquiring so much as it was letting go. So I got a real big dose of that, because some people show up in your life and they're willing and then they're not. And that was my experience. So as much as I love that, I had to release that. And I love myself for that. I'm never going to compromise or jeopardize, the jewels in my crown that I've earned. I don't have to downplay that. I don't have to diminish it. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. If it makes you feel uncomfortable, we probably can't be in the same room. And if you haven't died a few times, you probably can't even see me. It's very common for me to be among elders and older ones. My neighbor is an elder, and, in shamanic practices, there's no coincidence that I've got the coolest neighbor ever. And we celebrate that among each other. We can be ourselves. We're awake. We can talk about things that we want to talk about without a sick, delusional society looking at us like we're crazy, because they're not awake or aware,
I think a lot of people are challenged with that right now.
Yeah.
With, really, well, if you are familiar with Dolores Cannon at all, where she said that there would be, a separation, there would be a split.
Certainly.
And while, I often remind people, we are multidimensional. So we're not here to save anybody, but if somebody reaches out their hand, be sure to hold it and help them along. Don't save them, but, because in the spiritual community, sometimes we'll see, I'll speak for myself. I see people, some things that are posted, where, that we're, to be in our own little spiritual bubble and everything is love and light. And there's no, it's not a realistic experience as far as I'm concerned. We are still on this planet. Yes, we are creating our own dreams and what we engage in, who we invite in our world. Yes. And I'm not one to say we need to abandon it all and look the other way and not be available if people are reaching out for help, is my point.
Absolutely. It's best to learn how best we can help and to become space holders. It's not so much about fixing anything. I've seen more miraculous things through just space holding than anything else. And even though I had some experience with that, I pulled the druid card. I'm like, oh, okay, hold some space. And I did. Then I pulled it again and again. Something in me realized, wow, I've pulled this 3 times. I've got to hold some serious space. So I got serious about it. And it's someone who had 6 months to live. They had several horrific things happen. And I held that space. And being a conduit and an open vessel and a hollow bone, the miraculous happens. This person is healthy, happy, sober, and not dead. So I understood when that druid came that I had a responsibility, and I listened.
That's it. That's the word right. We do have a responsibility. If you
Yes.
take on, if you're initiated in and you take on the gifts and you're open to receive them, and that's what you're divinely here, present in this time, then yeah, I think responsibility is a big word, and a much broader big word than I think we realize.
And in this time, now that we're here, it's not a
being integral, just like you
Yeah.
mentioned, walking out and walking in integrity. That's a personal responsibility that we all should. All right, I don't even like using the word should, but that's a personal jewel of the heart that would serve us well to honor and appreciate within ourselves.
Yes. And now that we're awake, it's not enough. We must gather. We're stronger in numbers. So I don't care who you are or where you are, all the brothers, I hope you're out there and you're included, and I hope you get together as well. We all need support, guidance to gather in whatever way that looks. Pray about it, dream about it. We have to dream. We're creating a new world. We have to dream and we have to feel. The mind is not going to serve us in that direction. It's where we open ourselves for the divine to capture genius and insights and the answer to build, to grow, whatever we need to do. So, my only suggestion would be, if you're in a dark place, support is there. Look for it, ask for it, put that intention out and see what shows up, and bless you on your journey. And then for the people who have experienced this awakening, we're all coming out of this brain fog. And some people around the world were hanging on to that one molecule of serotonin they had left. It was so cold for so long. So I get it. But gathering is very important. Ceremony is very important. It's powerful. So I would like to see that. I would like to see people from all over the world, talk to people you don't understand. Get comfortable with things that aren't familiar with you, all these things that challenge us out of our box. It expands me. It keeps me humble. I'm in awe of the people. We're all spirit here. We're just having this spiritual journey for some short time. So to stay in alignment with values and integrity, and if you have a practice or a higher power, to stay connected with that, and you will make it through these dark times. Not everyone will make it through these times. Not everyone has. And my condolences, if you've lost many loved ones, I understand what it feels like to let go of everything you've ever loved. It's not easy. It's not, to rewrite, to let go of old stories, to let go of what's familiar. But gardens will not grow in comfortable places, and get comfortable in the not knowing. And, like Bob Marley said, he said, and not wanting nothing, I have it all. And that's my life right now.
That's right. Well, I agree with that 100%. Because when I stopped wanting things, I realized I had everything I really wanted. And, and I prefer a simple life over, a structured everyday. I mean, I do want structure in my life for my own personal practices for myself and keeping me in alignment for what feels good for me and what I feel is sacred for myself. But I don't go along with the status quo. I don't do well with that. I don't do well with you know, a lot of societal programming and conditioning, and I never have. So like you, I definitely know I was born a mystic, and I feel very drawn to you. And I just appreciate listening to you because it's soothing to my heart, even though I've had some of my own experiences. You know, I always say remain humble and a student uh, for others because
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yes,
and
be teachable.
that's right. So okay, so we're going to be taking a break in probably about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So is there anything that you want to share? Because after the break, I'd like to move in. I don't know. I don't see that we really have any listeners right now. This will go up on YouTube and Soma Fusion. People will be able to watch as they, um, you know, sometimes we get a live audience and people listen in, and sometimes they'll go to YouTube and they'll want to watch it, you know, on their time, and that's understandable and it's okay. Uh, so we won't have any questions, is my point in saying that. It doesn't look like we have an audience that's asking questions right now.
Okay.
We'll just we'll take the break and then we can talk more about, like, where do you see our future as a human family? What are your, you know, do you have a dream that you are dreaming up for the collective? What would you like to see take place? Uh, are you participating in any um what's the word I want to use, in any projects or programs that are taking place right now? For, I mean, you know, just share more. I guess since we don't have questions and stuff, we can listen to more of your story and maybe
For me personally, you know, I left 2 years, you know, the 46 Wisdom Quest, and I did the Clan Mothers Moon meetings, which was beautiful. A lovely pipe holder in Florida had open space for that. So, you know, very dedicated for those years I was there. It took a lot to get here, so you know, things are different here. I wash my clothes by hand. It may take 3 hours to cook as opposed to 30 minutes. You know, I don't use a microwave. You know, I have open air. Life is very different, so I'm adjusting and adapting. And again, you know, it's not the strongest and the fastest. It's the one most adaptable to change. Truer than true. So, you know, I pray and I dream every day about a better world, for sure. Absolutely. And I'm getting to build relationships with the locals.
yes.
I live in the barrio. I'm in a neighborhood. I'm not a tourist here. And, you know, those things take time. So I'm just letting it unfold naturally. And one thing's leading to the other thing very organically, in a beautiful way. So I'm going to see where that takes me, where I see the world going. The world, we're going to have many trials and tribulations, and we're going to work on it together. You know, working on ourselves is the most important thing that we can do, but also slowing our own pace, being more patient, being more compassionate. You know, when I had my awakening in 2011, you know, to see humanity go through this now, it's like, wow, they're all going through it at once. So I hold space for that. And some people have never felt uncertainty. It's unfamiliar to them. I've never had that type of security, so I never got attached to it. But for many people, it is their world. It is the reality they've created. So get comfortable with different reality shifts, different revelations, different things. Just embrace it. You know, anything you resist, it's like a wave. It might be a tidal wave that takes you under. So go with the flow, surrender as needed, you know, and just tune into yourself. You know, when is it time to take action? When is it time to rest? All of these things, just really tuning in into your own GPS system, you know, our natural navigational system. This is what we need to be doing. This is what is guiding us, and we're allowing the divine intelligence to guide us. We don't have to know, but we do have to gather and hold space for people, you know, in a loving way, and not so much fix anything. You know, it's holding that space and not doing nothing is so incredibly powerful. And I just go when I have a divine call. We don't interrupt people's process. It's very karmic. We don't run interference. We respect, and those of us who are really tuned in, we hear that soul call. So when I know that I have received a call, and there's been times in my life that I was tired of it. I had my own personal plan. Well, it can be a feather bed or a sledgehammer reality, but again, if you have a calling, it will keep calling you. So just to be tuned into your own intuition, to develop that. This is the language of the self that we're listening to that guides our every step. And I do see a beautiful world. I see a new beautiful world in the future. There was a man who had died and came back to life. And it was so miraculous. He was an atheist. He didn't even love his family, all these things, not a very likable human being. But when he died, he went through all these experiences. It was the most vivid, detailed come back to life story ever. But he was shown, and he was amazed. The fruit's bigger because people will be for praying over it. There will be more communities. I see this in the future. There's heaven on earth. I do, but there's footwork to be done. In the violent ways, children are coming in and they have a different language. They have a different way of speaking, and then they'll be navigating us through this terrain.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I've been saying that for years. And what you just said about the large, so we're definitely running on the same currency or current frequency right now, because those are things that I've been sharing for a long time too, Divya. I honor you. I see you. I thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
It's so lovely to hear, what's coming from your heart, something that I've been feeling, and I basically feel and have that same knowledge that you're sharing. And so to be able to connect with you in this way and to be able to show other women, anybody, really anybody, but in particular women is what my heart is pulled towards right now, so that we can come together and unite and strengthen each other and hold space like you've spoke so eloquently too. It's needed. It's definitely needed. There's a lot of, again, that's why I asked you to reiterate or to expand on initiation, because I think people, I've had people contact me that may be experiencing what I would intuitively feel that they're going through an initiation. They may not realize they've experienced something, because initiations aren't all love and light and soft and cozy. They will really awaken you and pull you out of your comfort zone and challenge you with some very dark experiences, at least for me, that where we are initiated in our own right to take our own light and shine it on our own darkness in order for the release to take place.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the beauty in doing that work is we share it, and then we're able to hold space for the healing of others going through that. And that's the beauty of doing the work. It's not easy, but it is worth it.
That's right. I agree. Absolutely. So there's nothing to fear. It can feel scary, but that's the whole point of me doing these shows, inviting beautiful women, my sisters, to engage and to come along and let's do this together, so that those that are, just becoming aware of this kind of dialogue. There are people that cannot hear us at all. Right. As you said, if people, you made a comment that if you died a few times, you wouldn't be able to see me. Right. There are people that literally can't see or hear us.
Yes, honey, I've got that look. Are you that alien? That alien look more often than none.
Yeah. So, and it's okay. And I go in and out. I do my best not to be defensive with people in any way and just really, but then we also have to set some boundaries. That's important.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and take a 5 minute. If you need to go to the bathroom, grab something to drink, whatever, if you want to get up and stretch your legs, we'll have a song play for about 5 minutes. Katie will play a beautiful song, and then we'll come back on and we'll start talking about some of the things together. This will be more of a open discussion between you and I about some of the things that we do in our daily life, things that we can share with other people that may give them some guidance, towards back to themselves, some healthy habits that might be useful, just to help them start shifting a bit more. And of course, they're welcome to reach out to you, reach out to me. I will be starting a group. I think I've shared that with you, and that's something we can discuss on another show, because I hope to have you come back. But we'll take that break and we'll come back and we'll discuss.
Thank you, Ida. See you in 5.
Thank you. All right.
All right.
Tell me what makes you weary. Tell me what lights up your eyes. I'll meet you there in the middle. We'll lay down and harmonize.
you. Welcome back, everyone. We appreciate your patience. Took a little bit of a break there just to make some nice tea with honey. And thank you so much, Divya, for coming on the show. I'm new at this myself. I started a few months ago, and I just really wanted to create a platform for people to come together and just have open discussion, to share our ideas, our dreams, our experiences, to invite others to know that they're safe and that this is a place they can come without having concerns of judgment or dogmas and beliefs and religious ideologies being pushed on them. I live a very spiritual life, and I know you do too. Definitely connected with my heart and my soul self. I say my I am self-actualized, and I want everybody to have that experience of becoming self-actualized. And I remind people often, we never arrive there. There's always an unfolding and more to become aware of. These are things that we already know them, but we're remembering. We're coming out of the dream, and or the mind matrix, if you will. So what do you have any suggestions like on for people practices, some daily practices people can start out with, women in particular, but anybody is welcome, of course, that will help them to get more settled and settled in their body and feeling safe and to be able to connect their heart, because I know we can't do it for people. It's really something that has to be experienced, but we can guide them. So do you have any recommendations on I don't hear you.
Hear me?
Yes. Oh,
First,
you're fine.
I want to commend you for opening up this platform. It's brave, it's loving, and it's brave. And anytime we start something new, it should be encouraged. And I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy that you have this space for us to gather. And I wanted to say, when I kind of got acquainted here, I've got my taxi driver, I've got my groceries, the simple things, doing my breath work and such. I'm like, Spirit, what next? And you sent me that invitation. So, I knew that was divine, but I'm never attached to the whys or the whats or none of that, just listening. But I try to be very careful not to solicit advice. It's rude when people don't ask. I know some people are very hypersensitive in these times because they're bombarded with information. So what I would like to suggest is to tune in to your own call, your own interest. Look to people who inspire you and ask yourself questions. And what you are interested in and what's good for you. I mean, it's a kaleidoscope. So many colors in that. And I would just suggest whatever you have to do to stay connected to yourself and your center, and to keep your heart open and an open mind through these trying times. But more than that, to be gentle. That loving yourself, it's going to set the pace, set the stage for every other thing, every other relationship you have. So, we love ourselves, we hug ourselves, and then, I can show up and love you more and vice versa and all these things. So even if you feel like you're in a place where you can't do anything, you can, it's simplistic. But sometimes we need gentle reminders. And, when everything's going great, it's easy to celebrate your victories. But even when times are rough, like I forgot my mat for class the other day, I'm rushing because I'm on a taxi timer and I can't read anything in the grocery stores and all the food is foreign. So I slow it down, reel myself in, as you said earlier when we spoke, and just practice the pause and reset.
Yes, there you just said it. Practice the pause and reset.
Yes.
And some days, like today was one of those days where I needed to just, okay, take a deep breath, relax, Um, I felt anxious a little bit, even to the point where I walked outside the door and came back in to make sure that my uh, nothing was burning in the house before I walked out, because I like to burn certain things and, just second guessing I was like, okay, Ida. And I was speaking to myself. I was like, a little anxiety today. What's going on? I have conversations with myself like that. Slow down a little bit to just see where you're at. Like, because we can get, the mind can take us so much, and the body's just kind of following along, or the soul can take us very rapidly, and then the body's slowly catching up to it. The soul is moving much quicker, from my perspective, than really that we process or understand until we're actually walking into what we're planning the night before in our dream time, what's
Yes.
going to play out for us, so that we have our, our experiences and our lessons. We have lessons every day. Some are very simple, some seem to be much more magnified, but I remind myself of this, and I remind those that reach out to me. We have lessons. We're not, and some of them are to see how much joy we can experience in a day. Or sometimes it's to see what joy we can bring to somebody, or how much compassion we're willing to extend. How much grace are we willing to extend to others? Those kinds of things. And I'm not the best one at it. Like, I get caught up in myself, but when can say this, when I slow down and I can take a deep breath and go back into my heart, everything seems to, be
Yes.
so lovely there.
The breath brings you back to the presence
Yes.
every time.
Yeah. And, a lot of people, especially, you've moved to the Caribbean, but there are people with big families here, or small families, people losing their jobs, people, and I won't, we don't talk about any kind of medical anything on this show, because I've already, so I always just suggest to people to do research on whatever it is you have a concern about. Do research, and don't allow yourself to be persuaded to do anything you don't want to do, no matter who it's coming from. Really think about it. And if you don't feel safe in an answer, wait another day and keep waiting until you're confident in your choice. We have to walk consciously aware of what we're in agreement to and what we're not.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up, through the 50 years of wrecking the environment and all these things, on a global scale, the humanity had become irreverent. And then, of course, self-referenced. So understanding that helps us catapult into a newer reality when we're more selfless, when we're willing to serve, and to respect the elements and nature. And, don't take more than you give. Don't be disrespectful. Pick up your trash. All these things. We have to become consciously mindful of our planet. It's the way it is because people have become irreverent. And when you lose connection with yourself, you can't connect to the earth or anything else. And, all is one and one is all. And, so I just want people to be mindful of that.
Yeah. So are there, like, how about some health recommendations, like healing practices that people can do for themselves? Like, it's like, I'm big on detox in the body. I'm big on, eating as close to the earth as you can with what we have to work with. I mean, everybody doesn't have backyards to grow their own food. We have to shop in these grocery stores. If you're able to get it to a farmer's market, I always, suggest people do that, and clean and wash your vegetables well. And if you're going to continue, my personal choice, it's only choice, I don't judge anybody, I don't eat meat. I just, in the past year, not even year, probably 6 months, start eating eggs and fish again because I had stopped eating meat completely from 2015 to 2019, 18, I think 19, 21. Anyways, yeah, where I didn't eat fish, no, as best I could, I stayed away from dairy products. There were still some that, so I wasn't a complete vegan. My point is that I was losing my hair. My hair was falling out. And I noticed that, I'd lost a lot of muscle mass and, I felt better for sure for not eating meat, but it just wasn't, I had to get some protein, some back into my body, but drink a lot of water, stretch, even if it's for 5 minutes in the morning, get your body moving, take a deep breath, wake up, say, thank you, source. Thank you, Ida. I thank myself, my body for, housing this soul that, yeah. And I respect and honor myself in a much different way. And, one thing for sure I know is like when we invest value and time in ourselves, we don't allow a whole lot of nonsense. Like we're more mindful of what we take in, be it, information, food, water, our environment. We're much more mindful. When we work on ourselves and we're really taking that deep dive and we're holding ourselves and coming out of, like the lotus flower blooming, we're not going to allow, dead water to be poured on us. We don't get seasoned that way anymore because we love and honor ourselves in a much different way.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm really excited to see. I love seeing women really loving themselves and honoring themselves and then coming together, and or especially someone that's new and it's just, yeah.
Cleaning and purifying the vessel, is so important. And people are more sentient. They eat a healthier lifestyle. Fruits and vegetables. Been a vegetarian since I was 18. I started raw juicing about 3 years ago. So with the fruit juice, it absorbs the prana from the sun, absorbs directly into my body. So I feel that prana. So, when I did a Southeast Asian tour 5 years ago, when I came back to the States, I wasn't the same. I never am after a transformational journey, but just energetically, I was always eating, but I was always hungry. I could never get nourished. That was just the location I was in that time. But people are innovative, even in cities, they're making these walls with growing their greens. I just saw a house the other day going to class where they're cutting these plastic containers and they're putting their herbs and tying it to their fence. And that's the beauty, as we evolve, we come up with ideas. Oh, this didn't work. Let's fix this. Let's adjust this. How did you do it? Pass the notes. And this is how we'll get through, learning a new way to live.
Vegetarian, so how do you get your protein? How is it that you provide your, I mean, I'm just curious because I really want to stop eating fish and egg again. My hair stopped falling out when I start eating it again. So I do notice that it's,
Yeah.
I obviously was, yeah. How do you get
It depends what state I'm in, what country, what's available. Everywhere I go, it's different. I've had to learn how to cook differently everywhere I go. I was in the Thai Mecca, in Florida. So I learned to cook some Filipino and Thai food. And now I'll probably learn here to cook, empanadas with, some beans.
I love beans. I love beans. I mean, I do like protein replace, I eat a lot of beans. I eat a lot of vegetables with high protein in it. I eat protein patties. I get at Trader Joe's, I think are amazing. They're 26 grams of protein, but I just feel like I wasn't getting enough. Now, I need to, yeah.
Yeah, listen to your body. Your body tells you what you need. My body craves fruit. My body craves juice. And it's very hot here. It's like, I live upstairs, so it's like 90 degrees.
Yeah.
But I miss sweating for 8 months. I'm in all these layers and, all these things. But I like it. It's healthy for me, but I'm careful because so many people have their own ideologies. They get resistant. But just to remind people that purification is important, whichever way that looks to them. Start off small. If you fail, get off the block. Don't beat yourself up. Just try again and try to see what works for you.
Well, I
Is what
definitely know fasting is, I mean, my dream time is amazing. When I fast, it's like I'm awake completely in my other world. Well, in other worlds. Like I know in my astral, if you want to say astral or etheric body, but it's very clear and vivid to me.
Yes, more foods with prana, foods that are purified, and fasting for sure. Absolutely cleaning out.
So definitely, more fruits, vegetables. Like I have a juicer. I do those things, but I need to get, now that you just said it, thank you for reminding me, sister, because it's time for me to get back to my, yeah. I recently quit smoking March 3rd. I shared that with you when we first connected.
Congratulations. That's
Well,
wonderful.
thank you. I appreciate it. It feels wonderful, but I've gained some weight back. And, so, and I'm not concerned. I know that I'll get on top of it and I will take it back off and I'll do it differently this time. I'll get in the gym because I lost a lot of it pretty quickly. Just walking every day for 44, like that's my thing. That's my outdoors at the park. I love to walk.
That's wonderful. Good
Yeah, I
chemicals
love
to the
to
brain.
walk. Yeah. Divya, thank you so much. This has just been, just this is what I would say, just a simple conversation, sharing a heartfelt connection, conversation, to share a little bit. I know that people that follow you on Facebook are going to be so happy to be able to, revisit this and just see a face and hear a voice with the name, and you inspire so many people. I see you, I value, I appreciate you. I just want to say that again because yes,
Thank you very much for
and
that.
your words are so uplifting and they're so, yes, motherly. You hold that wand for other women and I appreciate you. So
Yeah, I want to see all women thrive and gather and be empowered. And one day you'll be the light for me. One day, I'm the light for you. You might have a great day and I might be in a dark day, but let's be happy for each other.
yes.
I can be in my darkest hour and still be happy for a victory. We have to keep it because when we're not, we block ourselves from our blessing. That's why I'm not care about views and popularity and how many people show up. We showed up.
Well,
We
that's
are
right.
brave. We are magnificent.
That's
We're
right.
luminescent. And I celebrate myself. We have to celebrate ourselves every day. Not everybody's going to show up, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's right. I
But
agree
we're-
with you.
But it's powerful. It's putting it in the ethers. The more we do this, whether it's a one-on-one or the neighbors gathering or, the families getting together on Sunday and the women are talking, whatever that is, it's creating a new dream. It's putting it into the ethers where it is evolving. And that's beautiful. Just by the power of our words, creating with our words and our intentions. So beautiful. We're powerful beings.
I appreciate that. I appreciate everything you just said because that's really where my heart is. I get excited for other people, especially women, especially when I see them triumph and they overcome things that, I know for myself, things especially through my dark night of the soul, like I just didn't know if I was going to get through, but I knew that no matter how much I reached out to other people for help and trying to make sense of what I was experiencing, it wasn't until I just said, okay, nobody's going to give you the answers, Ida. It's only within yourself. They don't have them. That was a big thing with my mom and growing up. Like I wanted her to give me answers why things were the way they were. She didn't have the answers.
That's right.
She had her own traumas and her own challenges and so forth. And when I stopped having an expectation of somebody else doing it for me or making it easier or any of that. And I just sat with myself and allowed myself to feel the feelings, doesn't mean that I don't have thoughts sometimes still, but Michael Lee Hill, who I've become, been appreciating his work on Facebook for a long time, and I definitely have a true connection to him. I feel I do. He said, you know, when we have thoughts, just say, you know, is there something else available? When things seem to repeat themselves, okay, so okay to the universe, is there something else available? Because I've had these thoughts for a long time, and they're of no use to me anymore. They don't serve in any way. You know, because we get conditioned and programmed. It's like that old record that just is stuck on that one, you know, and it goes until you hit that needle and knock it so it starts playing again. Same thing.
Yeah.
Gotta you know.
Yeah, it took me years to
funny that when I start-
deprogram my conditioning.
That's right. Yeah. It takes time. It's not an easy venture, but once you learn, once you really get it, you can, it becomes much easier. Much easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, we've got about 5 minutes.
Well, I'm sure we could have 500 sessions.
Yes. Yes. And this is our first time together on this. Yeah. And I definitely would love to have you come back. Now you've broken the ice. You know, you've shared your beautiful smile and beautiful big blue eyes, and most importantly, your beautiful heart with all of us, Divya. So there's going to be people, you can post this on your page. Once I get it uploaded, I'll share it with you. Share it on your page. People can watch it if they want to. If they don't, it's okay too. We will have you back. I'll have you back, and we'll talk about that, you know, once some things get moving. But just if we have these conversations, if we open the door for people to come and participate and engage and know that there are women out here that have experienced or may not have experienced yet initiations and rites of passage, and, you know, full blown, like some people have had Kundalini activation. I had one, but there are others that may not have experienced that yet, but they've had other experiences that, you know, people are waking up, and it's happening differently for everyone, because we're all have our own autonomy, even though we are one. You know, it's exciting. We have a lot to look forward to. We really do.
Absolutely.
And I don't give a whole lot. I don't particularly care for a lot of things that are happening in the world, but I also know that everybody isn't here for what I'm here for. And that's okay. I had to really accept that, because I was quite defensive and aggressive when I first woke up. Like, I wanted everybody to get it. You don't get it, you know what I mean? Like, I was, especially with my family, I was very defensive. They thought I was losing my mind, and
Sure.
yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yes, yes. Okay, Miss Divya, we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate
for coming
you.
on.
I love you.
Yeah, I love you too.
Thank you very
sister.
much for everything.
Yes.
Bless you all.
And yep, we'll do it again. You have a blessed, beautiful evening. Thank you
Same
so
to
much.
you. Thank
All
you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.